Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ribbon cutting ceremony for Avanza 490. I am Marcia Contreras, and I'm the Deputy Executive Director for Mission Housing Development Corporation, and it is my honor to welcome you back. Isn't that exciting? We are back into our neighborhood. You know, after what, more than a year of collectively fighting the COVID-19 virus. Thank you, Mayor London Breed, and thank you, Supervisor, and all the community effort that allowed us to be here today in this outdoor space to be able to celebrate 490 Avanza. We'd like to remind you, though, that as we are so proud to be hosting you today here, we want to encourage you to kindly wear your mask as you enter the building and to respect still the social distancing guidelines that 490 Avanza is basically asking from all of us for our own safety. Now it is my great pleasure to welcome Asociación Mayab today, that's going to be conducting the ceremony for Avanza 490. We're very excited that she's here. Lydia is here today. Asociación Mayab is a community-based organization that's going to be headquartered here at Avanza 490, and we're very excited about that. They're going to be located at the flex space right at the corner of 60th and South Van Ness very, very shortly. Basically, you know, what they do. They actually provide Maya immigrant families in the Bay Area with social services and emergency support, promotes Yucatec and Mayan culture values, and serves as a bridge of communication between our community, local authorities, consulates, and Mexican and Yucatecan government. So we are very pleased to have them come today to conduct a blessing to make sure that this building is blessed today. And so I'm going to invite Lydia to come up to the stage and begin that blessing ceremony. Come on over.
Good morning to everyone. I'm going to be reading in Spanish. She's going to translate it in Maya. Okay? Here. Buenos días a los representantes de gobierno que se encuentran aquí, organizaciones, miembros de Mission Housing Development Corporation y todos sus miembros y todos los que están presentes en esta gran inauguración del edificio 490
un número
490 South Van Ness,
South Van Ness,
nombrado Avanza.
Con esto la clones.
Hoy es un día especial, especialmente para la comunidad indígena maya.
Indio, pero mayaltano.
Que gracias a Mission Housing,
Mission Housing,
que entendió nuestra necesidad y nos brindó su apoyo, tendremos la Casa del Pueblo. Y como el nombre del edificio, Avanza, ese será el futuro de nuestra comunidad indígena maya.
Juntos, munchanda, juntos son.
La comunidad maya indígena dejó su tierra natal con la esperanza y el sueño dorado de darle una mejor vida a su familia que dejaron atrás. Encontraron un nido acá en San Francisco, ciudad que les ha brindado trabajo y mucho reconocimiento a lo que son.
tilulak lo bashon.
A cambio,
Yo lu escobe,
con su humildad,
ya tu puksik alobe,
nobleza,
kilich ola.
dan lo mejor de su vida,
Kuts acta no malo kusta.
trabajando
Meya,
cuando se ha podido,
cuando kupasta,
hasta más horas de las horas regulares.
hasta más ya tiempo tu me encuentro nang más, y le kuts abato no más.
Algunos
Yan la silobe,
ya no alcanzaron regresar a su tierra,
matu más becha usuto te kahali,
pero se queda el recuerdo.
pero kupata tek puksika.
Gracias a Mission Housing,
Dios bo dikti mission housing,
todas las organizaciones,
tu lakle much kabilobo,
no nombro
mi wakuk abaw,
porque no alcanzaría el tiempo.
tu me mucho kikte no tiempo, ili walik titulaklo.
Por favor, sigan apoyando.
De favor.
Enhorabuena.
De favor, sega nakawango nesh, de favor, existe shek puksika, malo kintitesh.
Yeah. Muchas gracias.
Dios
Thank,
bendiga.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Gracias, Lydia. Thank you, Asociación Mayab. I just want to recap because we didn't have someone that can translate in English what she just finished saying. But she wants to thank all the organizations, Bridge Housing, Mission Housing, the mayor, all the agencies, anybody that had a contribution to make this building a possibility for the community. She wants to express her gratitude. She also talked a little bit about the journey for many that came from, Yucatán. I am so sorry. And they came here to look for a better and just more positive opportunities. And I get a little choked up because I know what that trajectory looks like as an immigrant person, someone that migrated myself. I know what that means. And she also wanted to remind and remember those that we lost during this pandemic. So again, she wants to also invite all of you guys to keep the good fight, to make sure that we can continue to build affordable housing. And she's looking upon all of you guys to be able to do that. Muchas gracias. All right, let's continue on. Let's share a little bit about what is Avanza 490. It's actually an 81-unit affordable housing building that you're sitting here today that's located in San Francisco Missions District. Just a couple of blocks from here, we have La Fenix 1950 Mission. That's another wonderful project with the partnership of Bridge Housing and of course ourselves, that we were very proud to do a groundbreaking very recently. And what does Avanza mean? For those of you that may be wondering what that word represents. We decided to name the building Avanza for various reasons, because it actually means to move upward, forward, and a desire to always advance. And we believe that Avanza 490 embodies the resilience spirit of this neighborhood, a neighborhood that fought, and they were very vocal about what they needed. And so here together, as a community, as a group, we're celebrating this amazing, amazing celebration for 490 Avanza. So we continue to avanzar. Continuemos avanzando. So we're gonna continue to move forward, right? Right? Yes, yes, yes. Mission Housing and Bridge Housing are proudly basically celebrating what we consider to be such a great accomplishment. And so we just want to be sure that you celebrate along with us, because this is actually a little piece of history that we are sharing with you today. We saw about 230 families that moved into their homes here. We actually have several, I'm looking several. Please wave to those residents that moved in here at 490 Avanza, and I just want to welcome them to their new home. We're so excited. That really makes me get choked up, because there's nothing better than to fight for something, deliver something, and then see the families moving in. And this is what we're celebrating today. This is for you. Es para ustedes. So now it is my great pleasure to welcome someone that is an advocate for affordable housing. And I know that she's been very vocal about it for many, many years, and she continued to be a partner and a supporter of our organization and everyone here that's sitting here today. Our mayor of San Francisco, that's been extremely busy for the past year or so, which are very thankful for her to even have time to come in and join us today. So with that being said, Mayor London Breed, would you please come up and share your thoughts?
Thank you, Marcia. I gotta say, today is definitely very special because it's been a long time coming, and I think that some of the folks that are joining us here today don't really realize the history and the struggle and the challenges that have existed for so many years, specifically in the Mission community. And Supervisor Ronan can recall at a time when we saw huge amounts of displacement of the people in this community. She was working as an aide for the supervisor in the office that she now occupies. And I remember when I was on the Board of Supervisors and this community rallied together to ask for more support in San Francisco, more support from City Hall to build more affordable housing. And at the time, I remember thinking to myself, what difference is it gonna make when the people in this community may not even have an opportunity to get access to these units? And so together, myself and members in this community supported my efforts when the federal government, HUD, said no, we could not use neighborhood preference. I flew on a red eye to DC. They changed their mind because all I did was tell them my story about my experience of growing up in the Fillmore and what happened there when redevelopment came in, tore down a lot of beautiful homes owned by Black people, rebuilt a number of affordable housing developments, but made it difficult for the people who lived in this community to have access to those units. I was watching as what was happening in the Mission already happened in the Fillmore Western Addition community. So it was important that when we started and we identified the number of developments in this community, the community did a whole walkthrough. I went through that walkthrough and drive-through to identify a number of properties, and at the time, our late Mayor Ed Lee helped to put $50 million in the budget to begin the process of acquiring these sites. And I picked up the mantle and we were able to acquire some additional sites. As a result of the work of this community, the advocacy of this community, not only do we have 7 sites identified for affordable housing in this community, we also are using neighborhood preference to make sure that people from this neighborhood have right of first refusal to access these units and to live in their communities. That was, I mean, I get emotional too, Marcia, because I think about what's gonna happen differently in this community for the people in this community. And so I was at La Phoenix for the opening of the Child Care Center, for the ribbon cutting and the ceremonies. I was here when we did the groundbreaking, the amazing groundbreaking here with the sage to cleanse off all the negative spirits and bring in the positive energy that these families deserve. We were on Shotwell when we opened up a new senior development, and we have other properties where we're gonna be doing a lot of ribbon cuttings in this community. In total, almost 800 units and counting. So that is absolutely amazing. But we know there's more that needs to be done. This pandemic, although it set us back, we were still able to get this project done. We were still able to continue to build. And that is so critical because families like the ones that we see here today, they're counting on us. They're counting on us to move as quickly as possible to get this housing built so that they can move in and raise their families in these incredible communities. I can't help but get excited, especially because I know that this is gonna change and save lives. Housing has to be the priority. San Francisco has not done the best job of moving forward as aggressively as it should in building more housing opportunities. I can't imagine my grandmother who raised me, I can't imagine what she would have to go through now in San Francisco and what would happen and how difficult it would be for her to be able to raise her grandchildren and take care of her developmentally disabled daughter nowadays, and the access to affordable housing. It would be almost virtually impossible. And what we want to do in this city is change that, to make sure that people have safe, affordable places to call home. And I'm so grateful that we are partnering with Mission Housing and with Bridge Housing to create these incredible spaces that are not just about buildings, they're about people and people's lives and their ability to live in dignity and take care of their families and live in a place like San Francisco and be able to come back and tell those stories about their families immigrating to San Francisco or their grandmothers raising them. They'll be able to tell those stories because they will have a future in this incredible city. And I'm so grateful that housing here will provide that opportunity. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for all the folks that had a role, Mayor's Office of Housing, Bank of America, our financiers. So it took a village. It really did take a lot of people coming together, but more importantly, it took this community rallying and demanding what they know they deserve in order to live in dignity in the community that they call home. So thank you all so much for being here today.
Thank you, John, for coming out.
Thank you all. Thank you, Lieutenant Pierre. Thank you for making this happen. I'm so grateful to be here.
And these are the stories that we are very proud of, and we should all be proud of. Thank you, Mayor London Breed. Thank you so much for acknowledging and for being here and for all the work that everyone was able to do to be able to make this happen. Our next speaker is our Executive Director at Mission Housing, Sam Moss, would like to say a few words. I'm sure many more words, not just a few. Come on over.
Thank you, everybody. John's got me crying up here. Sorry, just give me a sec. Thank you all for coming. I feel like I get to do this a lot now, and after 10 years, it's kind of hard to believe that we're having a ribbon cutting, every few months in the Mission. Marcia and myself took over Mission Housing 10 years ago, and we didn't look like what we look like now. We had a lot of growing to do, and we couldn't have done that growing without the support of our community, without the support of the late Mayor Lee and then Mayor Breed herself. And, most especially I'd like to thank Bridge Housing. No one wanted to invite us to the dance a long time ago, and we forced our way in the door, and now no one can get rid of us. And Bridge Housing is the one that opened that door up. And so we wouldn't been able to grow the way we are and to provide the things that we provide on a daily basis, not just at these new buildings, but at all of our buildings, if we hadn't had the trust and the respect of Bridge Housing. So thank you very much from Mission Housing. Coming to these ribbon cuttings, as great as they are, it really does have me thinking a lot about the past, though, and how far we've come, and just how important it is for us to stop right now. We've all just gone through a really hard ordeal, and we're still going through it. And it's important to look forward. It's important to come together and say, here we are at this point in time. I know these things happened in the past, and I know this person said that, and this company did that, but here we are as a community together, supporting each other. And, we're standing on something tangible, on a physical structure that was erected with the blood and sweat and tears and I guess a little bit of money from the San Francisco government, of course. But without all of that coming together and working together, we wouldn't be here right now. We'd still be talking about how many people have been displaced from the city. We'd still be talking about what if we could have done this and what if we could have built that. And we're standing on something that we did, that we accomplished. And I just really want everyone to take a moment and pat yourselves on the back, because it wasn't easy. It was exhausting. It was emotionally trying. But we're here now, and we're about to have some empanadas later and have a good old time. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Right back at Mission Housing. Really interesting origin story of this building. I want to talk a little bit about that and talk about relationships and how powerful and important they are to achieving what we're here to celebrate today. Back in the day when we were just fighting to stem gentrification and people being forced out of the Mission, and we weren't under the cloud of a global pandemic like we are today, Mission Housing and Bridge Housing had partnered a block away from here at La Phoenix. And Sam came to our office and said we'd sure love to get back in the game, and that was a really momentous day, because not only did that happen, but a few months later, after we were successful there, the Mayor's Office of Housing acquired some land that we're standing on. It was fully entitled for a market rate condominium project. They had drawings that were done. They were ready to break ground. And the Mayor's Office had the vision and the wherewithal at the time to acquire this shovel ready. Remember that term we used to talk about? And the city took some grief at the time because they paid a lot. But in hindsight, it looks like kind of a good number. It was a pretty good land deal by today's standards. So I want to thank the Mayor's Office and the leadership for making that happen. And then Sam and I think we decided we should get the band back together after what happened over here at 1950. And to fast forward, here we are today. You know, as Sam said, a lot of blood and sweat and hard work and a lot of talented people that, you know, we're not going to be able to thank everybody today, but I want to thank the relationships that we value most, and really the Mayor's Office of Housing, Mission Housing. As Sam said, Bridge and Mission got together, and we might have helped Mission on some things, but they've certainly helped us understand what the mission is all about. And thank you for the blessing today. It's a complicated neighborhood, one that's been under a lot of pressure, and you know, if we can come here and be a part of helping stem that tide, that's part of our mission. So thank Mission Housing for helping educate us about the mission itself. And we're not done. We're going to be working with Mission Housing at the Balboa Reservoir. We're busy trying to finance the infrastructure, but Bridge is going to build there, Mission's going to build there, and we'll be having a couple more of these ribbon cuttings. So I look forward to that. I also need to thank a few of the key actors here. Ankrum Moyes and Architects, who we're working with in Portland and here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Nibby, who built this building. Thank you, Bob, and your team. Nibby's building for us in Berkeley, another very complex neighborhood and complex project. And then I want to thank some of the folks at Bridge real briefly. Mitch, who couldn't be here, but his namesake here, this Caterpillar, we've named that Mitch apparently. So for all of you that know, Mitch really helped get this off the ground, but he was helped by Rebecca and Anna and Sarah and David from our team, who worked with Sam and Michael and Marcia and the folks from Mission Housing. So thank you all for helping execute that initial vision and for being here today to help celebrate. Congratulations.
I'd like to introduce, God, you're tall, even with heels. I'd like to introduce our next speaker. It's our district supervisor, Supervisor Haley Ronan. Come right on over.
Thank you, everyone. It feels good, Madam Mayor, to keep coming to these ribbon cuttings. It's incredible. Like Sam said, after 10 years of not doing any of this, to be able to celebrate every couple months the the opening, the ribbon cutting of a new affordable housing complex. And like our mayor said, this isn't about buildings, it's about people. And in talking to the incredible families that are living in this building, we've got to remember where those families were coming from. There are so many families in the Mission that are living in tiny SRO hotel rooms, 4 people, 5 people to a room. And if that wasn't, that's always been unacceptable. But after this year of pandemic, when we weren't allowed to leave those rooms, when kids had to open up their computers and sit on their bunk beds and be in a tiny space for 24 hours a day and weren't allowed to hang out in the hallway because they could get sick, that is cruel. It almost it makes your home feel like a jail. And those are the kind of conditions that families moved from to finally be in a proper home, where their kids can run outside and be safe, where they can have their own bedroom and feel like they have that privacy and that space to grow up and be kids. That's what projects like this make happen. And so thanks to the mayor's neighborhood preference, thank you for that law. That was one of the best and most important laws that we've ever passed in San Francisco. Making that happen, going to Washington and not leaving and not taking no for an answer is one of your great legacies, Mayor Breed, because that is what made it possible for families that live in those SROs in the Mission to move into proper, adequate housing for themselves and their families. And we can't stop. Like you said, we're going to keep on going because while there remains one family improperly housed in an SRO, where there remains thousands of people living on the streets of San Francisco, we can't stop. We've got to keep this going. And thank you, Mission Housing, for resurrecting your housing development work. We wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be doing all these ribbon cuttings without you. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, Sam. And then Bridge, of course, you never stopped. So thank you for partnering with our local community-based developers because we need that local voice and that local commitment and those folks from the community that are doing this work, like Sam, Marcia, Oscar, so many members of the Mission Housing team. Thank you so much. This is a great day. Congrats.
I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Kevin Blackburn from the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco.
Buenos dias, mi familia. It's an honor for me to be here this morning, and Sam, with your giant shirt on there, I'm the last one to speak, and my childhood baseball hero was, of course, Willie Mays, who batted cleanup, and I'm kind of feeling like that right now. But I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a common theme that has gone through each speaker today, and that is the stories. You know, I have some facts to share with you, but facts tell. But the reality is that stories sell. And the stories of the people whose lives have been impacted by having access to quality, affordable housing are the things that drive us to keep working hard to provide justice and equity for those who need it most. And so I'm privileged at the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco. This is like the best thing that I get to do. You know, I've spent a lot of time on planes, or prior to the pandemic anyway, spent a lot of time on planes going back and forth to D.C., and that is hard work, but this is really where it all makes a difference. So, you know, the facts that I just want to share with you, and I want to really congratulate Mission Housing Development Corporation and Bridge Housing for collaborating, because to build affordable housing, it is the most difficult type of housing to build, period. And to do it and to see what you've been able to create here, I think they deserve a big round of applause, don't you? Of course, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. You know, when years ago, I would say, well, building affordable housing is like a 7-layer cake, because you have so many layers of financing and expertise and access, and now with the cost of housing continuing to increase is probably a 10-layer cake now. But there are 3 layers of that cake that I just want to talk about. One is the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco. We, know what goes on in Washington. Once upon a time, there was a atmosphere where both sides of the aisle worked together for a common good, and one of the things that they created was the Affordable Housing Program. And so the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco gives away 10% of its profits annually in the form of grants for affordable housing. With Bridge as a partner, that has translated to about $33 million in grants to Bridge. In the congressional district of Speaker Nancy Pelosi, it's been about $49 million in total, creating a little over 5,400 units of quality affordable housing, and that's significant work. But we don't do it alone. We do it with our partner, in this case, Community Vision and Capital, where the member institution of the Federal Home Loan Bank that provided the grant. And then it takes the affordable housing developers to bring it all together. And so for the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco, we're honored to continue to be a part of the legacy of building affordable housing in San Francisco. And we want to just acknowledge Mayor Breed and her vision to be a fighter. You know, it's one thing to get in office and to kind of move things along. It's another thing to drive an agenda that really matters. And there's nothing that matters more than providing quality housing for people. And so not only are we working to continue to support affordable housing, but right now there's been legislation introduced in Washington that would allow the home loan banks to support infrastructure. And that is important. It's work that we are I was on the phone at 6 o'clock this morning back in DC because this legislation is really important, and we want to be able, as the infrastructure bill comes together, to be another tool that banks and can use to support the infrastructure development because we need it. And so I just keep your ears open. We appreciate the support from Supervisor Ronan and from Speaker Pelosi as well. And so thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Mission Housing Development and Bridge Housing. And this is a great day, and we're honored to be able to celebrate it with you. Thank you.
All right. Thank God I'm wearing my heels. I was going to wear my flats, but I wear my heels. Anyways, before we get moving on to the ribbon cutting ceremony, I just want to acknowledge the team that actually worked so hard to make sure that we can do this celebration, which is Bridge Housing's team and also Mission Housing's team. And for all of you that work really hard here, where is the staff? Mission Housing, Bridge Housing, lift your hand up. Big and proud. There's a few here, too, that are shy to come out, but thank you so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed this space. Where you're standing or you're sitting here today, it's basically the place where our children are to be able to play. Parents are going to be able to actually go right here and do their laundry and be able to have their kids run around here. And so I just wanted to acknowledge this space because I think it's beautiful. And I'm a parent of 3. And if my little ones had the opportunity to be in this space, I would be proud for them to run around because it's a safe, beautiful space. With that being said, we're going to continue on with the ribbon ceremony, and I'd like to ask for the speakers to move up here. But before, I'd like to remind all of you that we have a to-go reception located on the rooftop. You haven't been to the rooftop yet. We're left that for last. And we have actually partnered with La Cocina SF, and a neighbor of ours, which is actually a commercial tenant of ours, Chile Lindo, that's providing some amazing empanadas for us to enjoy. So for those who wish to attend this quick reception, please use the elevators are going to be here to the right, so basically to my right and another right. There's going to be staff there directing you to take you to the rooftop so you can grab a bite to eat and take it with you. And the other thing we have are some amazing t-shirts. So for all of you that are joining us today, pick up your t-shirt. It's a very nice t-shirt that you can take with you. I'm very proud of that t-shirt. Besides that, I just want to say, actually ask everyone that's here today, I want to ask for a commitment. Would each one of you guys commit to be supportive of affordable housing? You have learned about the stories about what this building represents and all the work that everyone that's here today. And I just want to make sure that I hear you loud and clear that you are committed and to keep the affordable housing efforts moving forward. Can I hear that? Okay, so avancemos juntos, which means we're going to move forward together. Thank you so much. To all the speakers, please come up.
All right, are we ready? We're ready. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah!
There's too many more of those, Mayor. Many more scissors.